Hey guys, so welcome back to my next video, which is on Logger. Like we'll be adding Logger to our game engine. So in this video, we will be covering two stuff. One is logging, and another is how we have like added this whole thing, like the architecture of the game engine that we are thinking for now. Okay, so I'll just cover up the architecture first because it's really short as of now. So let's go. So currently, what we are doing is all the code that we have is basically in lib. In lib, we have a single function which is run, and run will have all the entry point code. Okay. Now this run function is then used in sandbox to basically run our game engine. Makes sense, right? Now, in basically this entry point has a like class, you can say a class, which is application. Now this application will hold all of our states, all of our queues and everything inside it. For now, the application is nothing, just a simple struct with a debug and default enabled, and it has a function called run. Inside it, you can see we have two logs present. One is info, another is trace. Now we'll cover the logger part, but before that, we also have the code. Now inside the code, all the code functionalities, that is the functionalities that are required to maintain the whole game engine and to do, like, let's say, a sanity check or a health check, will be present inside this code. As simple as that. Um, and okay, so let's go to logger now. So the logger that we have created is basically a function that initializes logger globally. In in Rust we have a lot of logging libraries. Some of them are like log for rs, which is a like a supplement of log4j, which is a logger library in Java, which is quite famous actually. Shout out to Java fam. And then there is log, which is the basic logging library present in Rust. The thing is, it's simple, but at the same time, it's quite verbose, and you can use it in any way you want. It's quite customizable. It has a lot of features into it, but yeah, like what I've figured is the documentation for log is kind of wonky, to be honest. Nothing major, but yeah, you have to do a lot of digging in order to find out how it works. So the supplement for this log is env logger. Okay, so env logger is basically an addition to log, and what it does is it helps us to create formats to, let's say, add like targets and so on and so forth, right? So that's a good thing, because if you are using only log, then you have to do if you have to write a lot of code. You have to create your own custom like traits. You have to write your own custom logger struct and so whatnot. But if you are using env logger, then you don't have to do that, because it's already done for you. They provide you a builder, which basically I am using in line number 6. So this is why we are using env logger in our project, because it actually makes our task for building a logger, global logger, quite easier. Okay, I'll just run down this code line by line, and I'll tell you what's happening. So at 1k, what's happening is that we are importing write, which is basically we need this. This is an trait. We need this so that we can use this write ln macro. Next, we have the logger builder. Like I said, env logger provides us a builder for the log, and what it does is it's provide us with a lot of functionality, such as we can format up to what, like, we want to see the seconds, we want to see the milliseconds, whatever we want for the timestamp, we can see it here. We can add the target. So by default, there are two targets, and another one is a like a function sort of thing. So it's a standard std out, which is the standard output. Then we have standard error, which is the default like where the log is going. And then there is pipe. What is this? This is basically adding a file pointer to it. Like if you add a file pointer to it, then all the logs will be going to that particular file. So this is a good feature to have. Currently, we will not be using it. Later, when we want, later when we think that the console is filling up with logs, we would might need to migrate to, let's say, a file. We will be using this. Then comes filter. Filter label. Basically, what it does is it filters your logs according to the level. So all the log levels has a priority, and we will be filtering the logs according to this priority. So anything below the trace priority will be removed, and anything above it, including trace, will be staying here. Now the trace itself is the lowest priority log. So anything, there is nothing below, so you will always have this. But the highest priority is off, then there is error, there is warn, info, and debug. These two parts are generally used during building, like the development. This is what we generally use in production. But I'll be using trace, given this is like my local project and everything. So I'll be using trace so that I can see everything. Then there is format, so you can format everything. This line is kind of useless because you have already, like, because I have already added format time in seconds. So this line is kind of useless, but yeah, you can just do timestamp also. Like that will also give you the same thing. See, that will also give you the same thing. There is no difference, to be honest. There is no difference at all. So yeah, anyway, moving on to the next part. So this is the format that I'm actually quite comfortable with, so I'm using this format, but you can also use the default format, which I'll show you how it is. So let's say this. See, this is the default format. This is good, there no doubt. This is like, there's no doubt in that, but I prefer to have this, prefer my own format over this default format. So that's why I'll keeping this. Okay, now going back to lib, what we have done is we have initialized. Okay, so before that, this init function, what it does is it initializes this whole this configuration, this logging configuration globally. Once this is configured, every log function, let's say debug, trace, error, off, and everything, will always have this particular format present, no matter where it is. Right? You don't have to initialize it another time. You don't have to do anything in your own code, but you can always have this. Now lib. Now lib, what lib is doing is basically it's initializing the logger. It adds the application, like I said, and then it's running the application. Now you can see in the sandbox, it's Aloy engine and run, and that gives you this particular output. It's quite cool to see, like it's kind of building up step by step, so it's quite cool for me to see like the whole thing. But yeah, it's like it's on the way there. Anyway, so that's it for this video. Thank you.